Okay, good morning. I'm going to work through the study guide. So hopefully this is just you comparing your answers. Also, you probably see there's a PDF of the study guide as well. So this is the scenic route. This is where I show all the process and where you could take the shortcut and just check your work there. So this first question says, find the volume of a sphere with a diameter of 22 inches. So right away, we look at the formula and we know we need the radius. So I'm going to have to take this diameter, cut it in half, and find out that my radius is 11 inches. So I'm going to use that 11 in my formula. So when I come here, I'm going to do volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. I think I might have said squared like 2 seconds ago, but it's cubed. Volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 11 cubed. Volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 1,331, I believe. Let me make sure that's right. Yep. So then I'm going to take that 1,331 multiplied times 3.14. And now I have volume equals 4/3 of 4,179.34. So then remember, the way to take care of this 4/3 is I take 4 times 4,179.34. And I get 16,700, it's a weird 7, 17.36. And I divide that by 3. And I get this really long, weird number. So I get volume is about 5,572. And it says 0.453 repeating, so just put 0.45 because we have an about, right? So we would say 5,572.45. And we have our about symbol there. Okay? That 45 looks really strange. It's not really enough space, is it? But there we go. And if you don't end up putting your answer over here in the answer box, like if you just had it over here and you put inches cubed, that'd be fine too. Okay? All right, question 2 is surface area of a sphere. So we have the formula here, easy peasy. We have our radius. So we're going to say surface area equals 4 pi r squared. Surface area equals 4 times 3.14 times 2 squared. Surface area equals 4 times 3.14 times 4. So when I get out my trusty calculator here, 4 times 3.14 times 4, I get surface area is about 50.24. So then I would say about 50.24 inches squared. Remember, that's squared because it's surface area, not volume. Okay. Now, I did talk yesterday in class about how maybe you're not going to end up showing all the steps that I do, but you need to show your process, right? You need to show something. You can't just write the formula and the answer. Like, I got to know that you know where the numbers came from. All right, next page. We've got a cone here for number 3. We have our formula. We have our radius. We have our height. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Remember, this pi r squared is the capital B, right, for our base, which is a circle. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14 times 4 squared times 9, because 9 is the height. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14 times 16 times 9. So I'm going to do all the stuff except the 1/3. So 3.14 times 16 times 9. I get volume equals 1/3 of 452.16. So remember, to take 1/3, we divide by 3. So I took that number, divided by 3. Volume is about 150.72. So I would write about 150.72 inches cubed. There's my decimal. We did question 4 together in class. So remember, we talked about the base being a square. So we had to fill in the missing side length, fill it in. We knew that length times width was what B stood for because the base was a square. All right, number 5, find the volume of a cone. All right, so similar to what we just did on number 3, Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times the height. This time we're given the diameter, so we have to note that our radius is 10 feet, right? Because this whole distance is the 20, radius would be half. So volume equals 1/3 times 3.14 times 10 squared times 17, because our height is that vertical here from the apex down to the base. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14 times 100 times 17. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 3.14 times 100 times 17, and I get 5,780. Last step is to divide by 3. So I get volume is about 1,926.67. So I would say, because that was repeating, right? If you look here at my calculator, it's all these repeating 6s. So then I fill in here, 1,926.67. How are we doing so far? Good? All right. Volume of a sphere again. So we've got 4/3 pi r cubed. Oh, I'm sorry. We did surface area before. So this is volume of a sphere. Got my radius is 5, so I don't have to do any funny business there with the r. Volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 5 cubed. Okay, I did see quite a few people yesterday. Instead of doing 5 times 5 times 5, they did 5 times 3. So don't do that. Remember, cubed means it's the number times itself. So now I've got volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times 125, right? 5 times 5 times 5. So I'm going to 4 times, 3.14 times 125. Volume equals 4/3 of 392.5. So then I multiply that times 4, and I get 1,570. Divide that by 3. Volume is about 523.3 repeating. So I would say about 523.3 repeating. Well, actually, that would be an exact value, so I would put an equal sign there, because if I leave it 0.3 repeating, then that means it's the exact value. If I had left it at 0.3 about, then I would have to use the about sign. Oh, yeah, we did surface area. Oh, I see where we did volume for number 1, but we just didn't have a picture. Okay, sorry. All right, page 4. We've got a pyramid here, similar to question 4 that we did together. We have our capital B here, which we all know is length times width. Remember, I use the cursive L. So I'm going to use my formula. 1/3 capital B times H. 1/3 length times width times the height of the pyramid. Volume equals 1/3 of 7 times 9 times 7, because I have length, width, and then height. Volume equals, let's see here, 7 times 9 times 7. We have 1/3 of 441. Volume is about it's an exact value, 147. So we get 147 yards. Remember, to find 1/3, we divide by 3. Okay, number 8. You are making a cake for your birthday. The cake will have a spherical top. Interesting. You will cover the entire top with fondant, a type, this should say TYPE, of icing. You guys know what that is. It's like really hard to use, but it makes it look really cool, and it also kind of tastes gross. I don't recommend it. How much fondant do you need if the sphere has a diameter of 8 inches? Okay, so here we go. We have diameter again, which means we need to change this to radius of 4 inches. So we're going to fill out our, we're going to use our formula and find how much of that horrible tasting icing we need. All right, so surface area equals 4 pi r squared. 4 times 3.14 times 4 squared. 4 times 3.14 times 16. So our surface area, oops, is going to be about 200.96. So we have the about symbols, 200.96 inches squared again because it's surface area. Last question. We have a, what are these things called? A sand timer, I guess? Yeah? You guys play any games with these things? I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but I know they're popular. Okay. The sand falls at a rate of 40 millimeters cubed per second. How much time do you have to answer the question? Hint, you need to find the volume first. Easy peasy. So we're only finding the volume of this section. Okay? This doesn't really matter to us. This 30 millimeters right here, that's a distractor. You don't need that information. We need the radius and we need the height of the cone that the sand is going to be draining from. So don't get distracted, right? So we know the radius is 10, we know the height is 24, so let's go ahead and figure out how much sand is actually here. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14 times 10 squared times 24. So we have 3.14 times 100 times 24. So volume equals 1/3 of 7,536. So we divide by 3. Volume equals 2,512. So in order to find out how long that timer is going to last, remember we know it goes 40 millimeters cubed per second. So we're going to take this 2,512 and divide by that 40. 2,512 divided by 40 equals, so we get about 62.8 seconds. That's how long you have before the timer falls. You know, I just thought of one of the games. Isn't Boggle? Have you guys ever played Boggle? Where like you have that little thing and you shake it up and the letters all kind of settle and then you have a certain amount of time to find how many words that, or maybe categories. Does that have a timer as well? I don't know. Okay, so there is your study guide. Your quiz will be extremely similar. So please come prepared tomorrow, and then we'll take, all we're doing is the quiz, and then you'll be on your merry way to spring break. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.